What up, what up, what up, everybody? Hopefully, y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thursday. As because today it's been quite a lot of things going on today. And one of the things I want to get into is really the simple financial advice that no one's really talking about. But before we get into that, let's talk about the market, see what's going on so we can start living our life.
The trade deficit surging in December. This is important too. 70 billion, up 33% from November. Let's discuss it all with David Zervos. He's the chief market strategist at Jefferies. David, it's great to see you. I mean, is it bad? I kind of want to talk trade deficit a little bit. Was that just a 1 month aberration? What's going on here?
I think, look, I've never gotten very excited about 1 month or even 3 months of data. I think you need to see the trend, and the trend has been that trade has been our friend. These trade deficits have been coming down. Net exports have been a large positive contributor to GDP, which is still looking like it's running at close to 3%. So I wouldn't get too bent out of shape with the volatility. And I think a lot of trade supply lines are just moving in crazy directions because of all of the trading changes that we've had since Liberation Day. So trading rule changes. So I'm not thinking there's some sort of major trend toward deficits coming anytime soon.
David, I always like your take because you're so good on what matters and what doesn't, and that's always an important thing, keeping your eye on the prize. I would point out, though, that I did some numbers this morning, and I prepared a chart which is going to show that after all the sturm and drag about tariffs, the trade deficit is largely unchanged year over year. And that bothers me a little bit because I think what we've done is shifted the trade, raising the price and shifted the trade. There it is. You can see there, folks, compared to 25, it's a little bit smaller. The trend, as David said, is down towards the end of the month. What happened, according to my calculations, David, is importers imported about 2/3 of a month of imports, January, February, March, and then they kind of let it run down a little bit. So that's where we're at right now. I guess I ask you this question, which is overall on the economy, how much are the trade deficits are the tariffs going to matter in 26?
Steve, I think a lot of the economic Armageddon on the inflation side, as well as on the growth side, have actually not played out over the last 10 months. We're now sitting with a CPI at 2.4%, basically where it was at the April levels, which were some of the lows of the post-COVID period.
So I'm gonna pause it there because they're throwing out some acronyms, and I want to make sure that y'all follow these. So they're talking about the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index, which actually measures pretty much. I'm gonna make sure I get this right. It's just measuring the United States, just talking about how things actually cost year over year. So that's what they're talking about. So let's get back to it.
So since the surge after 2021, 22, the post-COVID inflation surge. So I think that's proven to be a big miss by the economics community. And this idea that it was the end of global trade. Remember, we were going to go into deglobalization and nobody was going to trade with each other and everybody was freaking out. And here we are with numbers that really aren't that sort of different, although the trends are working the way I think you thought they would, which is there is some reshoring. It's happening slowly. There is some positive signs that we are taking in revenues on the trade side, and that is contributing to a budget deficit to GDP ratio that's now down to 5.7%, something a lot of people have missed, Steve. It was well over 7% prior to the Trump administration taking over. So there are all these variables we have to take into account. But in general, I think the sort of Armageddon idea that everybody subscribed to in April, May, and got themselves very bent out of shape about, with the exception of a few, is just not played out the way many had thought.
I totally saw that on the deficit. That's why I was actually talking about the trade deficit too, David. But what was interesting in wanting to be like, hey, this is an improvement, is all the projections, even for this year, are still, they're not a meaningful improvement. And then they kind of get worse very quickly. But maybe you would take issue with those projections. But even places like Strategas would kind of say we're going from 5.7 to like 6.2, like that this was more of a one. I don't know if there's anything more hopeful you can tell us. I want to hear a story that says we're going to 5, and then we're going to 4, and then we're going to 3, and then we're, and that just doesn't seem to be in the cards.
Well, remember, I think our primary deficits are only in the twos, right? The low
Yeah.
twos. So a lot of it is interest expense, and a lot of it will depend on your interest rate views and how the Treasury decides to issue. So if there's any changes, if the administration tries to go for more short-term issuance over long-term issuance and things like that. So I think there's a lot of variables that could be at play here, but we've had a Secretary of the Treasury that's made it a goal of his to drive that number down. And he's been successful in his first year, highly successful. I think fading him at this stage would be a mistake.
All right. So I wanted to share that, start that off right quick, give you a little education on what's going on in the market, because we have a lot that's happening in the world. And I do not want you to miss that opportunity to kind of see what the heck is going on, because, life be lifing, and we just got to make things happen. So, as you hear, I actually need some lotion. So let me put some lotion on. Don't ask why I got lotion near my desk. It's mandatory for moisturizing sake. And I'll leave it there. Anyway, thank you, Dr. Sev, coming through. If you're actually chiming in, go down and say something in the chat so I at least know you're here. Give you a couple shout outs. And some of you are very nervous, and I understand, or you might just be doing other things. All right. So, one of the things that we have been talking about, and you hear this a lot, it's like, I'm really curious on what financial advice that you've heard that you don't even follow. Because I've heard a lot of it, obviously, being in this financial space, you see it a lot, and sometimes we just tend to not follow it. Commonly is to pay yourself first. That's the number one. You always hear that a lot. Another one is, oh yeah, pay your debts, lowest amount to the highest amount, regardless of the interest rate. You always hear that. Sometimes they always say you might have the black tax, which is make sure that you pay uh your parents, for whatever income that you make, because now you making money, you got to pay your parents some of that money because they birth you. That's the black tax for you. Sometimes you got to send money home, depending on what country you're at and so forth. So you hear that a lot. Hear how money like money. I heard that term before as well. Does it work? Sure. But also depending on the times that you heard it, also depends on the time that they grew up when they brought this up. So I want you to think about that. If you have any like other sayings or financial sayings that you heard, drop that into the chat. I'm curious to hear what you all grew up with in the past, or that you currently still say. Are there any of them that you actually still say? That's interesting. So without further ado, let's go on and jump right into it. So, just kind of think about the financial advice that you've been following like your entire life. And, you're trying to figure out like there's a reason that you're not getting ahead. Like, what is that financial advice that just seems to like it's there, but it never sticks? So I want you to kind of think about that. But it's, in a sense, could just be a limiting belief that causes you to continuously be in this poverty trap. And we got to discover why playing it with your money might just be keeping you in that poverty mindset. And I want to help you get out of that. So let's try to dive into some of that. So thank you, Dr. Seb. You said the black tax is the cost of reaching back to help family members once you make it. That is so true. And, we hear that a lot inside the black community, but have you heard it in other communities? What is you're saying in your other communities? What are those uh, financial beliefs that you constantly dealing with that aren't really pushing the needle financially for you? So I'm interested to hear, because I know there's so many out there. I think someone was like, "Hey, don't look a gifted horse in the mouth. Don't Not all money is good money." We hear that a lot, but let's get to it. Let's see. Let's see. Because this is a live show, you get live pauses, and also you get randoms, things going on, and things going wrong. because that's what we do here. All right. Actually, this might be my last live show utilizing StreamYard, so I just want to let y'all know that as that's going through my head right now because it's got a lot going on, you guys. Okay. I wish I had more visuals for you. Actually, I can develop. Matter of fact, I'm gonna develop visuals for you while we got this. And this is the beautiful thing about AI. It's great. So if y'all want, let's do it this way because I don't think I'm gonna release this one on audio. Y'all getting an exclusive here on live YouTube. So Dr. Sev, you said they do the same in other communities, but not sure why it's negative in the Black community. That is interesting. Do we overhype poverty in the Black and brown community? I'm curious about that because we hear about these things and we talk about, hey, we made it out the rut, we made it from the ground up, here we are, this is what we do. But is this something that we need to live by though? Is something that we really need to show up for every time and be like, yo, I heard this, I'm doing it. Actually, you know what? You hear most advice from people who are not doing the work. I've noticed that a lot of people got a lot to say on what you should be doing with your finances or what you should not be doing with your finances, but haven't been there yet. So, I mean, I've been through some stuff financially, so I could talk about a lot of stuff. And I'm sure you all have been through some stuff financially that a lot of people, you probably feel like you're alone in that situation. But honestly, you might not be. Because there's a lot of people that actually gravitate towards the what's the name? Towards the stories that I share with everybody else, the common ones, as far as um see which ones like the lady that came on my show, Jazz, shout out to Jazz, who said that, you know, she was a mom by choice, you know, going through figuring out how to raise a child, single mom. She didn't want to deal with a dude, had a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's doable. So, do you have to sit there and feel as though things aren't going your way? Something ain't right here. The app that I want to use is Gamma. Gamma is not doing Gamma things right now. It doesn't seem right. I'm trying to get into this thing here. I do apologize for the delay because I'm trying to do this and there we go. It's just that they updated their website and I got a couple credits left. Seems like I'm also running out of space. So I'm gonna delete some of these. Yeah, I'm gonna delete that, send that to trash. All right. So since y'all are here, we're gonna build this live right now while we're here. I have all the notes. I just wanted to give you guys a visual because granted I could sit here and read it, but then like while you're watching when we can just do this live. Hey, what's going on, Sarah? Thank you for showing it here in the streets. Let's see. Positioning matters. Can you tell us more, Dr. Sarah? What you mean by that? What you mean by that? I mean, if you want to, Dr. Sarah, I can send you the link. You can join me today. Cause it's been a while since I've been live with other people. Let's see. Share my screen. The video going live. So let's see. All right, there we go. Change my background. All right. Yeah. These backgrounds. That's going to be my last live show with this platform. So we're gonna just do it. All right, cool. You got some moving stuff in there. All right. Cool. All right. So you know what? What we're gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and take this small trivia. Matter of fact, I'm gonna teach you guys how to do gamma. And then once we get done with gamma, we're going to go ahead on and bring it back to this live presentation to start talking about the simple financial advice that no one shows you and no one seems to follow. So let's see. Copy my text. And then build out some stuff. All right. So y'all see my screen. I got gamma up here. I'm going to throw a little bit of background music while I get this going. Let's see what we got here. All right, I'm gonna turn the music up pretty loudly so that you can actually just follow instead of hearing me talk. So. Hello. Hey, what's going on?
Calling to the show.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were talking about the black tax.
Yes, the black tax. Yes.
And I wanted to add some context to that. I don't know who coined the phrase and why it became a negative thing. Because if you think about it, the Asian community, for the most part, they give their young people seed money to start their businesses, or they they provide them some kind of stepping stone financially. If you think about the Hispanic community, they live together and they help each other build. So all of the other communities are doing it. The whites do it. The white folks do it. They also, for the most part, are helping either through seed money or they are, hey, you are my frat brother, so you get the job not because you're qualified, but because of I know somebody in the upper management. So their communities are helping each other, but for some reason, when we look at the Black community, we look at it as a negative rather than, hey, I'm helping you to go further than I did.
Right.
So I just wanted to say that.
Oh, thank you so much for calling in about that, because that is something that we all need to hear. And I appreciate you taking that quick moment to tell everybody that on the phone call here. And if you guys are listening right now, y'all want to give a call in, go on and call in. Thank you, and you have a safe trip, okay?
All righty. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. So first call for the day. Definitely. So that's one of the things that we don't talk enough about is how to make sure that we provide how can we stop doing it backwards, meaning the black tax, whereas the children actually paying for the parents to actually have the parents start paying for the child. And I think that's one of the things that we currently right now, most of us are our first generation of really making that finances. And I kind of wish you had more time to talk, but it's okay. Because for most of us, since we are the first generation, it's kind of tough to figure out what it is that we are missing when it comes to building wealth and actually sharing our wealth with multiple generations. It's not just that, yes, we are the first ones, so we should just give back to everybody. but then we wind up being in that same situation. So how can we as a community, even though we don't have much, still support the ones that are coming next? Meaning, what are we doing right now to kind of help the next generation? Are we investing into their retirement accounts, their UTM accounts? Are we putting away money in a high yield savings account or in a Roth account to kind of give them their money to our loved ones when they're ready to start a business? Are we even positioning our self-directed IRAs to give out loans so that if our friends or family, especially our family, are starting a business, how can we all pour into them and invest in them? Not just pour into them, but invest into their future, their businesses, whatever it is that actually helps them be successful. And I think that's what's being missed and not talked about enough. So I'm curious of what you all have to say about that. But as we go head on and share, I want you to think about that. So let's get back to building out the slide deck so we can talk about the financial advice that no one seems to follow. And cue music. But in case while I'm building this out and you want to give us a call, go on and give us a call at 833-699-2558. And we're all ears for you. So let's make it happen. Back to this music. And okay, so now I got that. I just need to see what I'm looking at because I got all these windows up. Okay. So we want to generate notes or an outline. So we want to summarize the text. All right, keeping it simple. Go Le Clim. Then we can do, I like to do abstract because usually they do horrible. Matter of fact, let's do some line art. I usually like line art. Minimalist style, get some warmth in there, a little bit of professionalism. Let's see, any additional instructions? Nope. Here go all 5 segments. Closing. So these are the cards. It look like these are the slides. Okay. They generate. I got insufficient. I don't have enough credits for this. How many credits do they need? Yeah, I'm only doing like they don't tell you how many credits you need to build this out. Ooh. I got 6 cards. My tokens, I got plenty of tokens. They don't say how many tickets that I need. I don't want to pay the $8. I want a slide deck. Does anybody else know a good slide deck creator? Let's see. Slide deck creator. I wonder if Google has one. Okay, let's say share this tab. Let's see what we got. We got beautiful AI. I heard about that one. Canva, but I think you gotta pay for that one. Let's say free. Well, let's go down and check out Canva. See what we got. And I'm gonna fly through this. Don't judge me. Can't remember which one of these used. Not this one. Okay. I need Canva AI to create a slide deck for a presentation using text. Now, this is the beauty of AI. Here we got. Okay. I'm not sure what would you. That will work. No, Dr. Sev, please drive safely. We do not want you to impact yourself. So please drive safely. We can do it another time. All right, so we're gonna do a minimalist playlist and his. All right, so while y'all see this build in real time, actually, this is the reason why I like some AI tools, is because it allows you to like see how the inner workings do. Now let's see what it came up with. Okay, so I did all this. Cool. Did all that. Now generate the design. All right, so this is real time, you guys. Like, it literally took a few seconds, and I used AI to actually generate the context for this particular show, mostly because this information has been talked about ample amount of time, and also that already did the research. What's going on, Lisa? Thank you for stopping by. All right, so now that we got the slides set up, I know I'm cheating here, and I know Lisa will probably get on me later about not having everything together, but we here. So let's see what Canva created. Created quite a bit of things here. So we got so we got a couple of them to choose from. Oh, I see what it did. Okay. All right, let's see which one shall I choose? Because we did talk about this as well. Ooh, actually I like the first one. Sometimes AI gets it right the very first time. And I kind of wish they allowed me just to download it right quick. Well, I guess we don't have to download it because I can actually present directly from here. All right. So, shucks, here we go. We're going to make this work, everybody. So I'm putting y'all on another screen so I can get this going. All right. Again, so I can at least look at you. Okay. So for this particular topic, again, we're talking about the simple financial advice that no one seems to follow. And that's one of the challenging things about finance, is that we get a lot of advice and do we actually follow it? And one of the things that causes us not to follow it is the scarcity mindset. So let's go on and hop into it. Ooh, 3% of wealth distribution disparity. Okay, think about this. That the bottom 50% of American households, meaning 1 in every 4, actually 2 out of 4 people, or the bottom half of the US. Yeah, so 1 out of every 4 households held less than 3% of the total US worth. highlighting the inequities of the financial growth opportunities that impact traditional financial advice. So I want you to think about that. Most of us grew up hearing about the same financial gospel. Like we hear about saving money. Then you don't spend more than what you earn, but putting away for a rainy day. Like, we got to put money away for a rainy day. And to try to avoid that like a plague. And look, on the surface, that sounds responsible. That sounds safe. But have you ever heard anybody really doing well in business because they played it safe? I don't think so. But this is a question that nobody really asks themselves. Is safe compared to what? Like, what are you safe from? Because here's what the research actually shows, that in 2023 that the Federal Reserve found that at least the bottom 50% of households hold less than 3% of the US wealth. And that is majority of the rest of people. So they've been doing everything right by conventionally standards, but they've been living within their means their whole lives. So is advice still any good? And that's what I want to think about. The scarcity mindset. There is a concept in behavioral economics called the scarcity mindset, popularized by Harvard economist Sindhil. I'm not even going to try his last name. And researcher Eddar Sharfer in their book Scarcity. Their research shows that people are focused on not having enough. Their cognitive bandwidth, literally their mental capacity, actually shrinks. So that actually make them worse. They actually make the worst financial decisions, not because they are bad with money, but because the stress of scarcity impairs their judgment. So I want you to think about it the next time that you feel kind of like, who knows that you're not going to find another one like this. I need to buy two. So think about that. But now let's combine that with the advice that everybody else tell you to just cut back and save more. That's the complete opposite of scarcity. That means as though you're going without. And so you got a system that keeps people managing poverty rather than just escaping it. So here's the brutal truth. Living within your means assumes your means are enough to begin with. For a huge portion of the population, they're not. So think closely about what you want to do, and no amount of skipping lattes are going to bridge the gap of $40,000 of wealth. Nothing like that. So we got to get out of that scarcity mindset. We got to start thinking about how scarcity really narrows that focus and really shows lack of power. And for me, as your podcast host and somebody you're listening to right now, I think you have way more power than what you're giving yourself. You have what it takes to do more. Oh no, it's okay, Lisa. Appreciate it. Hey, what's going on to your chat? Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. All right, let's get back to it. So, what first generation builders do differently? And this is going back to what Dr. Sev was talking about earlier when she called in. She was talking about how, as the Black generation, when you're the first generation, you're giving back to the parents. And because of that, it actually hinders your growth sometimes to give back, because you're constantly in this rat race to make more so they can constantly give back. But yet in other cultures, they actually give to their children. And because they give to their children, they're actually allowing the generation to grow further than what it is to just keep giving backwards. So give forward. And that brings us up to that first generation, like first generation of wealth builders. So what do people who do build real wealth do? Because because when I was in the deep of this, and I want to be clear, I'm not talking about the inherited wealth or lottery winners. I'm talking about the first generation builders, the first generation wealth builders, to be exact. A few things that stand out consistently in my research. And I know I do a lot of research. They actually focus on income expansion, not just expense reduction. So Morgan Housel in the Psychology of Money, great book, by the way, if y'all haven't read it, makes this point beautifully. Wealth isn't built by being frugal alone. It's built by the gap between what you earn and what you spend. And the most powerful lever on the gap isn't cutting, it's earning more. So when I actually talk about building your wealth, this is helping you shrink that gap. I want you to get where you want to be. And how can we make more money? And we got to do it strategically, not just by listening to one advice. You got to listen to so many people. Get as much information as necessary, but you also have to take action. So what do they do as a first generation wealth builder? They use debt strategically. This one actually breaks people's brains. But wealth individuals understand the difference between consumer debt, borrowing to consume, and leverage. Borrowing to acquire assets that appreciate or generate income, like real estate investors, business owners, even stock investors using margin. They treat debt as a tool, not a sin. Now, when it comes to the things that I just mentioned regarding stock investors, as far as utilizing them as a margin, they have something. So Lisa could talk to this more, but I do want to bring this up. Is that when it comes to stocks, you actually have something called a stock margin or a marginal call. The margin is pretty much your betting. They give you up to about, I think, almost 200 times the amount that you actually have invested. So if you have 100,000 in there, they can give you up to 200,000 or $300,000 just on what you currently have available, like your current investments or your stock portfolio. So when you'll hear this from time to time called a marginal call, which means that people actually leverage that extra money. And if they do not make any changes while they still have those margins available, the bank or the broker will actually have that opportunity to actually pull some of that money, and they'll sell whatever shares necessary to kind of even out that debt if they're not careful. So I just want to keep that in mind when they talk about the investors and margins. But remember that they invest before they feel ready. So stop thinking so much and start taking action. There's actually data from Vanguard showing that time in the market consistently outperforms timing the market. The people who actually wait until they feel financially secure to start investing, they've already lost years of compounding. The people building wealth start uncomfortable and get comfortable later. They buy assets, not appearances. So Robert Kiyosaki gets mocked a lot, but the core idea of Rich Dad Poor Dad holds up. Wealthy people prioritize acquiring things to put money in their pocket: stocks, real estate, businesses, intellectual property, not depreciating liabilities dressed up as status symbols. So I want you to think about that. All right. Because as we move on to the 4 pillars of wealth, and I know they listed 3 things here, but I want to let you know. So they got income expansion, strategic debt use, and early investing. But as a small underlying and undertone is consistency. And what do I mean by that? So the system is actually really designed to keep you and us, me, myself too, consuming. And I want to zoom out just for a second because this isn't just personal. There's a structural layer here that doesn't get talked about enough. The financial services industry makes money when you save passively in low yield accounts and products with high fees and instruments that benefit the institution more than you. The consumer economy makes money when you spend, and also on things that you don't need. So you want to start thinking about what is it that interests you, that you can actually build interest. And also a lot of these things that they have for purchase have built-in adolescence. So neither of these systems has any incentive to teach you how to build real wealth. And a conventional live within your means advice, it keeps you participating in both of these systems without ever questioning them. I try to question everything. There's a reason why I started the podcast, because we got to make it work. And we got the systems of consumption, which is the financial systems of incentive. And you have the consumer economy of incentives, which means that, we got to constantly keep spending. And in both systems, but one of them is about saving. The other one is about constantly spending. And how do we actually get rid of that cycle? So we got some key implications and recommendations. You got to recognize the mindset impact. You got to shift your income focus and invest early. That goes back to staying time in the market versus timing the market. Start focusing on how to grow your income. You can do that several ways, either working overtime, picking up a side job, grow a skill in the sense where you're actually working less at work, but you're still making the same income. So in other words, you're maximizing your time to grow your income per hour. And then you got to start talking about the scarcity mindset, which we mentioned earlier. Really start thinking about the expansion. What more can you really do than just your day-to-day? And understanding the impact is very crucial and actually can break free of those limiting beliefs. So much more. All right. And let's see. So I already said my thank you. Man, it's going so early. All right. So what could you actually do? Now, remember we were talking about as far as your money, your spending, and your income. So I want you to audit yourself. Ask yourself, is my income the actual constraint? Could I negotiate, upskill, side hustle, or restructure my time to change that number? For most people, the answer is yes. Can you actually learn the difference between good debt and bad debt? Sure. Just stop treating all your debt as an enemy. A mortgage on a property that cash flows is not the same as a credit card debt at 24% APR with an annual percentage rate. You got to invest consistently and early, even imperfectly. So Lisa J. Stocks talks a lot on her show about, investing even at $5, starting off at $1 even, and just do it. And as we mentioned before, you do it not knowing as much of what you're doing, and then you get comfortable with it. So by doing so, you're doing a low risk. At least you're trying it with $1, $5. And they talked about, and I mentioned earlier, talking about lattes, that you can't really save your lattes to wealth. However, since investing and saving are pretty much cousins, yes, you're putting money away, but it depends on what vehicle is it driving. You know what I'm saying? Is it driving a 18 wheeler that's guzzles gas and takes a big load and just driving about, I don't know, 70 miles an hour down the road? Or are you in a Corvette driving 100, 200 miles an hour on the road legally? We talking about legally around here. So how is your money growing? How far can it go and reach your destination? And so I want you to actually have a combination truck where you can bring all your money and at a faster speed so that you can get to your destination a lot faster. And I want you to continuously invest early. If you just hearing this conversation and you haven't invested yet, and you just got money sitting in your 401k, I want you to go log into your 401k, see where your money is actually at. If it's just in the cash section, tomorrow, I want you to talk to your financial advisor or the financial person at your job to actually sit down and say like, hey, I have money sitting in my 401k. Can you at least inform me? Because they can't tell you what to do, but they can at least educate you on the tool that y'all investing in together, what these words the different words meaning, the acronyms and so forth. This is your opportunity to put your job to work for you, because you're leaving a lot of money on the table by being uneducated on what you're investing in. So I do not want you to be uneducated, because this is the whole purpose, is to entice you to get educated so that you can spend money, talk about money, and enjoy your money with confidence. And if you're not doing at least one of those three, then hey, by all means, you need to start asking some more questions, or listen to some of my older shows, ask those same questions. And if I haven't answered any of those questions for you, hit me up. Leave a comment in the bottom in the show notes. Not in the show notes, but leave a comment, because I want to make sure that I get your answers. Get you answers for your questions. So and also I want to kind of slowly wind down this talk to talk about like refrain from relationship with risk. Okay? Because there has this thing that nobody really tells you. Not investing is also a risk. And I had several people said that was one of their worst financial money mistakes, was not investing, because they would actually be a lot further financially where they were today if they had taken the advice or to invest early, even when they only made about $20,000 a year. So, I want you to think about that. But it's okay though. We can't go in the past. We can't go backwards. We're here right now. We're going to take some action. So I want you to do that. So keeping your money in your savings account at 0.5% while inflation runs around 3.3 to 4% means you're actually losing wealth while feeling safe, which goes back to the beginning. What are you safe from? Safe from who? Safe from what? The risk of doing nothing is just slower and quieter than the risk of doing something. So I want you all to start thinking about how can you start doing that. All right, they say contact us, don't pay this any mind. All right, blah 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 blah. All right. So hopefully you all enjoyed the live today. I know usually I run off script. I wanted to share this because this is something that I thought was actually important, worth talking about as well. For some of you guys that like to nerd out right quick, the planets are actually coming into alignment. There's going to be 6 planets in alignment come February 28th, I believe. That's next week. So if you guys are astrologists out there or amateur astrologists, go down and get your telescopes out to start checking that out. And yeah, so please make sure y'all sign up for my monthly newsletter. I know it's been a while. I haven't sent one out in a while. Don't come at me. It's life and I'm trying to do too many things at once. So in my next newsletter, I am going to talk about a lot of the things that I'm be cutting back on to trying to streamline to still continue the best possible quality information to you all. Because I want to make sure that you have the best of me and not just a little bit. And I want to make sure that I give everything the attention that is needed to be successful. Granted, I could hire some interns and so forth, but I'm like, I haven't maximized my free time yet. And that's one of the things that I try to do is maximize my time with the tools that I have before I try to invest or put money down on anything. And am I really maximizing? Somebody told me recently is that I'm in my own way. And I'm trying my best to get out of my own way by listening to other people, see what they have to offer. And am I willing to start asking questions, asking for help? I haven't asked for help because, one, I don't know what to ask for. I'm afraid to ask for help with my show. And I know Lisa's been getting on me about doing my videos, but I'm also nervous about those too. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have been slowly getting what I've been getting together. I've been slowly putting out 8-minute segments on my cuts and my feeds to make sure that everybody at least getting a little longer form content. I know that some of you all have been asking for the 4-minute, 8-minute clips. Because with the little shorts, there's just not enough information in there. And I want to actually expand that a little bit more. And as I take my sip, I'm actually drinking soursop. Because I am trying to cut back on drinking, even though so I said cut back. I'm not eliminating it yet, but I am cutting back per week. So right now I'm having soursop. They have some nice health benefits with soursop, and I'm not sure. Have you all tried soursop juice? They say it's HFCS free. Oh, high fructose corn syrup free. That is cool. Because, if y'all want to drink natural sugars, there you go. But highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. It's actually a pretty good drink. So what's going on out there in the financial world? One of the things I haven't done yet was I haven't done in a while, which was to hook up my Nintendo Switch so y'all can actually see me play my video game. For those of you who play Nintendo Switch, I do have the what do they call it, the New Horizon, and they just came out with the update, so I'll be checking that out soon, getting that going. And they was talking about, when people talk about spending money in entertainment, I have to say, like, when it comes to consistency, man, I need a break sometimes. And I know people say, like, well, you can get a break when you die. Like, bro, but I need a break while I'm alive unless I'm become dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too much. And I know consistency is one thing, but that's when it comes to consistency in finance. But consistency in life, man, we need a break. So what do y'all do for relaxation and just to kind of calm your nerves down? Because when I'm laying, like, my wind down time, I'm sitting and watching anime, having some fat snacks. You're like, Anthony, what kind of anime do you like? Let's see. I mean, I'm watching anything right now. Let me check in my Crunchyroll account. See what shows I'm watching right now. So y'all might be able to give me some insight on what I should be checking out. Let's see what we got. I'll log in right quick. Okay. All right, let's see if I can share my screen now. See what y'all got going on. So somebody saying anything, I'm just rambling for now. Where is share my screen? Because yeah, I know they talk about money, but it's like things that I tend to do. That's pretty much the end of the show if y'all just hanging out with me at this point. These are trending. So I am watching Jujutsu Kaisen. I am caught up with that. Sentenced to be a Hero is actually pretty interesting. I actually do like that their first episode was at least 1 hour long. My Hero Academia, that's finally done. Attack on Titan was done. Let's see what else I'm watching. Oh, I am watching, well, Blue Lock, I've seen it. I'm just actually just going back to actually see what the final tryouts are. Let's see. The Life of the Immortal King. That one is actually interesting. It just kind of like now background noise. Mostly because the first season was amazing. The rest of it is kind of like, let's see. What is this? Sentenced to be a Hero. That's what I just talked about. And then Jack of All Trades is actually pretty amazing. And Jack of All Trades is pretty much where he got kicked out of a team. Like he was part of this hero team where he go out and kind of clear dungeons, so forth. But he got kicked out because they thought he was weak. And then so he just kind of trained himself, made his own way, and then wound up start teaching kids. And then they found out that he was actually like pretty amazing. And then his old team was like, yeah, you're still a weak mage. We're gonna get somebody else in here. You stop. And then it just kind of followed his story on him making his comeback move and people not believing in him. And so people always, and this is the reason why I always say, like, people always like, why do you watch anime? It's mostly about the storytelling and the, as you could say, the character building. Like it does such a really good job with that. So if you kids are actually watching anime, ask them which one should you start with. I'm actually curious on which anime would they actually suggest to you in 2026. I always say there's a genre for anybody. So if you like sports, there's sports genre. I like this one here, which is Freerun. Freerun is pretty much like an adventure style mage setup. Once again, it's one of those where your characters die, she continues to move on, but how does she live like hundreds of years to kind of just take life on to the fullest? I haven't watched Trigun yet, the new one. I watched the original Trigun. Oh my gosh, this right here. Tajmi or Tajma wants to be a common rider. Hilarious. Meaning, the reason why I say this hilarious, let me see if I can click on it, but not click on it. Yeah. So this anime, so hilarious, is mostly because he is almost like a 40-year-old guy who grew up watching this, I don't know, like some action-packed show. And and he just thought he'd been training every day because he's like, yeah, I am the common rider. I want to do this. And it wasn't until he was in his 40s that he found, like, you see the mask that he has on? He finds the mask at like it's a kid's mask, really. He just threw it on his face and he just feel like all of a sudden he transformed. Talking about fake it till you make it. Amazing. And then everybody's story is like, it's like pretty much it's adults with money that now can actually do the kid stuff. And that's what's funny about it. And it's amazing storyline. It brings back the nostalgia of, like, you know, you always hear like cops and robbers when you're a kid. But what TV show was it that got you? It was like, you know, I'm pumped and we get to play like this outside as kids. And we go to the playground and everybody wants to be their favorite character. This is your show. It's pretty much for the millennials, for the adults who have been living, I guess, not being able to live their dream and go out to play with their friends again. But actually, like, you can cause some damage. Like, they really are causing damage. It's hilarious. Highly recommend. If you're just looking for something new. Some of these I haven't checked out with. If you into racing, I actually do like this. I'm not sure if you guys ever watched some racing shows, but so at least this is what I'll be watching tonight. I'll be watching all 4 of these. Yes. Oh, for those of you who are looking for like a fun family anime, Spy X Family is pretty cool. This is a spy. The guy is a spy. The girl or the woman is actually an assassin. And then the daughter, she's actually a psychic, so she can read their minds. And then the dog is a seer, so he actually can foresee the future. And it is such a great anime that's put together. They do have a sub, and you actually can watch this on Hulu if you have Hulu. You don't have to have Crunchyroll to watch this. So love the show. It's such a great film. Great anime. All right, so I'm gonna stop here, stop sharing y'all my stuff, so I'm gonna go watch some anime. And I wish you all the best. It's been fun. Y'all be safe. I'm out. Oh, and please make sure y'all listen to some of my older interviews. Some great interviews. I'll say at least the last 3, because I'll put you about like a month back of interviews. My backlog is up until June and July, so I will not have any individual episodes of myself anytime soon. I do plan to kind of sneak one in there for myself, maybe like an 8-minute one, just to kind of say hey and how y'all doing. But that's about it. All right, everybody, y'all be safe. I'm out. Peace. Whoops, I can't leave. End the show first.